What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Just dropped off my buddy David Wiley. Shout out to David for helping take some of the stress off by cooking roast and everything else. That made it a lot easier. Shout out to everybody who came in on the channel, except for all the Eagle trolls that are partying right now like it's 1999. I know you're mad. I know you're disappointed. And here's where we are right now. There's two things that can happen here. One, Tyler Smith is a continuation of this off season that's been like the off season for hell for the Cowboys. Or two, he ends up actually being a really good player. Now here's the thing. I don't necessarily go by what all the experts say. If we were to listen to all the experts and the ones that they tell us, because every year, I want you to understand, every year they tell us that our draft sucks. We're a C-. This guy's no good or that guy's no good. I believe last year, for the most part, they said that our draft was terrible. I believe the 2016 draft, they gave us a bad grade. I think they did. I believe what they said about Dak Prescott was, not the seventh best prospect, weak arm, Tim Tebow 2.0. Not first round talented type of an arm. Not the guy. They had seven guys rated higher than him. NFL GMs picked 7 guys higher than Dak Prescott. Okay. I know Dak haters. He's still a bum. Whatever. But those are saying that this guy's a stiff. That he sucks. I'm going to say you don't really know. You don't really know. You won't know for a couple of years. Eric Flowers was a top 10 pick by the Giants, and everybody looked at that time that was a great pickup, that he was going to be a great tackle. He was a stiff for the Giants. He had an okay career as a guard. He had coffee at a bunch of different teams and played okay, but nowhere near being that top pick. I'll take Giovanni Clowney, who was the number 1 pick, where everybody thought for sure that he is going to be revolutionizing the defensive end position, and has never once had 10 sacks in a season, and truly was a disappointment. I'll say, if you think that Tyler Smith will be a bust, I will say, how about Terence Steele, who's currently on our roster? Terence Steele, who went undrafted, he was a rookie free agent for us that we thought would never sniff the field. But because La'el Collins went out, he ended up playing 13 games. Not well at first. He got better as the season went on, and nobody thought that he was going to be much of anything even after that rookie year. But he played well enough last year that it made La'el Collins expendable. I dare say he's at least our 3rd best offensive lineman, but really think he's our 2nd best offensive lineman. So that guy was undrafted. If he could end up being better than what everybody thought he could be, why can't Tyler Smith? Now here's what I've seen briefly, and since the live stream ended, cleaned up from the live stream, and drove David home, and now I'm on my way home, and I'm talking to you guys to make sure I stay awake. I usually don't fall asleep in the middle of a conversation, and my wife says, I can talk to a brick wall, and I have a couple of times, quite a few times actually. I talk to the brick walls all the time. That's just me. Here's what I see with them, and here's what I think the thought process is. First of all, the Cowboys, I don't understand why they do this, but when they want a guard, they draft a tackle. They draft a tackle and they make him a guard. Tyler Smith is a tackle, but I remember seeing this quote from him saying, I like to play tackle, but I will do whatever I need to mesh with the team. So that means if I need to play guard, I'll play guard. So if he can play guard and tackle, then this is actually flexibility. What he may be in time is the replacement for Terence Smith. In the immediate term, you play him at guard. Guard is the biggest hole right now. You assume Terence Smith will be able to come back and be healthy to start the season at least. If Tyler can end up being the starter at guard, if Tyron Smith goes down, then you switch him to tackle. You bring in Conor McGovern, or if you end up bringing in, you got Josh Ball too, and maybe you go out and you end up getting another offensive lineman in free agency. If he's able to do that and has that flexibility, then that bodes well for the team to be able to have the best 5 offensive linemen on the field. Because ultimately, you don't want to go, you can't really say, I've got, a starting offensive tackle and a backup right tackle. I've got a starting left tackle, I got a backup left tackle, and so forth across the line. Then you're talking about having to keep 10 players. But if you have a couple of guys that can play multiple positions well, then it makes it better, and you don't have to have as many guys on the field. You can end up having other players in other positions that you say, we may need to have a few more players for various reasons. So I'm not going to give up on the draft pick, because what I'll say is, and this is true for the Dallas Cowboys, for the most part, they've been pretty good at drafting offensive linemen. I know there's a Chaz Green. Chaz Green is the outlier. But when you look at what the Cowboys have done with first-round picks on the offensive line, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, all of them have been Pro Bowl players. First-round picks on the Cowboys offensive line have always been good. And even going into the second round, I dare say that we don't like him, or we didn't like him much, and he had too many penalties. Conor Williams was not as bad as people think that he was. He wasn't Tyron Smith or Zach Martin, but he was still a competent offensive lineman. Now, the only really thing that worries you is the penalties. We got the most penalized player off the roster in the NFL, and we end up drafting the most penalized player on the offensive line in college football. So there's that. But what I will say that I liked about the guy is he's got size, he's a mauler, he seems to have a bit of an attitude, and he can pull and hit you with authority. So don't get too pissed off yet. Let's see where it goes. A lot of times teams will think that they're in great shape for free agency. I remember when Washington got Albert Haynesworth, their defense was pretty good. And they just said, man, with Albert Haynesworth, we're going to be lights out. Funny, it didn't work out that way. Anyway, I am close to being back at home, and I am going to go to bed. Tomorrow is going to be another day. we will figure this whole thing out, and we'll see. I won't be doing a fireside chat tonight, so I want to put some thoughts in while I'm driving here. If you guys have known me or watched me on Facebook or have watched me for more than about 4 years, you probably know Ramon. Ramon worked for me for about 15, 16 years. When Ramon came here, he didn't know much about anything as far as construction work. And I literally taught him everything, from drywall to painting and carpentry and trim and molding. I was talking to him today, and sadly he's got prostate cancer, and they basically told him he's got about 6 months to a year to live. So I always tell everybody that life is precious. Life is something that you don't want to waste. And we do waste so much time on things that just don't matter. You know, we have to feel like we need to be in other people's bedroom and what they're doing. If what they're doing is not hurting you, why do you even worry about it? People come on here that just hate. If you don't like me or what I'm doing, well, why do you come? You don't have to be here. Why are you wasting your precious time here on this earth on something you don't like? I just don't understand that. Don't you have loved ones that you would be better suited spending time with them? Ramon was my right-hand man. Make sure you tell somebody you love tonight that you love them. Do me that favor. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And God willing, I'll see you, well, it's already morning, later this morning. And don't sweat the draft so much, okay? Be cool. It's going to be okay.